Welcome. What's going on? Jon Berghoff here. Hey, if you lead, teach, or convene groups, run trainings, events, meetings, workshops, conferences, or have an interest in building community, if you're like me, if you're somebody who has a deep, genuine interest in bringing groups together where the aspiration, the goal is to multiply learning, but simultaneously build meaningful relationships, even a sense of belonging, then you'll love these videos. What I want to introduce you to is the exchange approach, why this is such a significant an opportunity right now of this generation, and also give you a set of practical tools to help you to immediately shift the impact that you can make, whether a trainer, a teacher, whether you lead inside of a company or you're building a community. I hope you find this to be useful. So I want to start with an interesting context here. You know, right now, our world is changing in ways that none of us have ever experienced. If I draw a little picture here, and this represents rate of change, and this represents where we are in human history. A number of years ago, a gentleman named Astro Teller, a longtime executive at Google X, suggested that we may now live at a time where the rate at which our world is changing has surpassed our capacity as human beings to adapt to this changing world. Now, think about that for just a moment. What are the consequences of this? Well, in a moment, I'm going to show you why over $5 trillion a year is currently being spent to try and contribute to this moment in time. Yet that effort is largely falling short. You see, change is happening exponentially while human adaptability is still linear. The result is we're living at a time that most people would describe as disruptive or chaotic or uncertain. You could use many other labels, but those labels are not just some description of a world out there. They are simultaneously a description of our world within, but most importantly, our world between each other. This moment in time is calling for an entirely new approach to leadership. In fact, we hardly call it that. It's an entirely new approach to enabling positive change. What the world needs right now is a group of change agents who are able to help us to reconnect to our higher capacities. Our capacities are human capacities for resilience and creativity, but also collaboration and cooperation. And the world needs a group of change agents who not only can unlock these capacities, but can do it at a faster speed and a larger scale than maybe we've ever known was possible. See, every year, over $5 trillion is spent on bringing people together where we have objectives that overlap between we're here to learn, we're here to connect, we're here to build community. And if you're curious where that number comes from, over $1.5 trillion are spent in the event and conference industry. Hundreds of billions are spent in leadership development and training. Well over $1 trillion spent in higher education and professional learning. An additional trillion spent across various community building, religious, and civic gatherings. Think about that for a second. We invest more dollars and resources than the GDP of entire nations just to bring people together to learn, to connect, to create positive change. Yet, despite all of that investment, something is not working. According to Harvard Business Review, and you've probably seen this yourself, 85% of conference content is forgotten within days. According to one McKinsey study, less than 10% of training programs are actually creating sustained behavior change. The 2023 Surgeon General report said that loneliness is at an all-time historic high, despite more connectedness than ever. Isn't that interesting? And there's one big reason why all of these data points are true. It's because so much of what we've been taught about how to lead, how to teach, and how to convene groups is outdated. We are stuck in a paradigm. In fact, I'll draw a picture for you here. We're stuck in a model of convening that suggests that in any given circumstance, there's a few of us that have the answers for the rest of us. And in this industrial age approach that eventually leads to how we design and lead so many of these different types of gatherings is leaving so much potential on the table. The real breakthroughs happen when we change our paradigms and beliefs and we expand the tools that we're using so that we can ultimately tap into the collective heads and hearts of as many people as possible. And what I'll share with you later in these videos is at the center of how we do that is through the design and facilitation of questions and conversations that unlock the wisdom and experience of the collective gathering. Now, what we're talking about here is what is called the exchange approach. This is a shift from passive experiences to engaged interactions. This is a movement away from what do I know to what questions do we ask? From one-way knowledge transfer to experiential shared learning, where the audience becomes the stage, the learners become the teachers, from meetings that are transactional to experiences that are transformational. This is a shift away from the leader as the expert to the leader as the guide, unlocking everybody else's expertise. Sometimes we call this the difference between an egocentric and an eco-centric approach to how we initiate, design, and facilitate. Here's the best part of all. This is not a theory. This is already happening. Exchange is being used by global conferences. For example, we have TEDx events that are shifting from passive to interactive. We have CEO summits for organizations like Conscious Capitalism or the HeartMath Institute or Women Presidents Organization. Companies like Hewlett-Packard's annual leadership summit, or in this case, Habitat for Humanity, doing large group strategic visioning. Internal summits inside of companies like Facebook, or even teaching our methodologies to autonomous driving engineers in Munich at BMW. Although I will tell you, it's not the companies that I'm most proud of that are using the Exchange operating system to convene more consciously. It's actually the company we keep with all of our students, maybe folks like yourselves. We've had thousands of coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, community builders from over 50 countries that are now using this approach. In the next video, we're going to go deeper. We're going to take the invisible and make it visible. I'm going to share with you 3 forms of capital that will determine whether or not any gathering succeeds or fails. Following that, we're going to give you our operating system, a simple framework, so that you can initiate, design, and facilitate experiences that truly touch up against and maybe invite the collective intelligence, wisdom, and potential of any gathering. If you're ready to stop leading events, meetings, trainings that maybe fall flat or leave opportunity on the table, and to start designing experiences that create breakthroughs and even an experience of belonging, stick with me. I'll see you in the next video.